college football presented by Best Buy here at Doak Campbell Stadium, Tallahassee, Florida. Boston College against Florida State Seminoles. This is the opening kickoff, which goes out of bounds and a flag thrown on the play. This is a pivotal game for both teams. Boston College will start off on offense. Boston College with a golden opportunity in this ball game. I'm Mark Jones along with David Norrie. Stacy Dales down on the field.
1st and 10.
She'll be joining us in just a few moments. Tom O'Brien's team right now has just one loss in the ACC's Atlantic Division. A win today against the Seminoles, and they are surely in control of their own destiny. That because of the loss by North Carolina State today against Maryland. Matt Ryan has been the big story at quarterback for Boston College all week long. He didn't practice full time until Wednesday. He got a little bit more action on Thursday. He's been suffering from not only a severely sprained ankle, but now a sore foot as well. He hands it off on 1st down to L.V. Whitworth, who's brought down right at the line of scrimmage, just shy of the 40-yard line. And let's take a look at our impact players for this ball game. Ryan, with 9 touchdown passes this season, he leads the conference with almost 1,400 yards passing. And Jolan Dunbar is the reigning ACC Defensive Player of the Week. He's made several key plays for the Eagles this year. 2nd down coming up for Boston College. Out of the shotgun this time. That would make it easier for him to deliver, which he does incomplete at the 48-yard line. That pass intended for Tony Gonzalez. And let's take a look at the starting lineups presented by Citi. The guys up front are key, especially with Matt Ryan hobbling. Up front, Beekman, James Martin, and Cherelis. Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator for Boston College, says if those guys aren't playing, I may as well go home. That's how important and vital they are to the success offensively for the Eagles. 3rd down and 10 coming up. Matt Ryan completing about 10% of his passes on the season. Out of the shotgun again. It's going to be ruled complete at the 48-yard line to Gonzalez, but way short of the 1st down. He was working against Darius McClure. Let's take a look at the Seminole defensive front. Now get this, they played more true freshmen than anyone in the conference this year. 16 in all, 4 of them getting the start defensively today, 1 of them on offense. There's a look at the 4. Dakota Watson, a linebacker, filling in for Gino Hayes, who was injured against Duke last week. Chris Davis standing on his own 20-yard line for the Seminoles. John Ayers punting for Boston College from his own 34, averaging about 41 per. Davis motioning for the fair catch back at the 9-yard line. A good punt that time of 47 yards by John Ayers. Let's take a look at the impact players for Florida State as they get their first crack on offense. Drew Weatherford, 18 interceptions last year. He's cut down on that.
Well, he has, and he's improved. I mean, a lot of people talked about Drew Weatherford coming off the freshman year, and it looks like Florida State facing mathematical elimination in the ACC race. The race to get to the ACC Championship game. They're going to abandon the run game. They're going to spread things out, sit Weatherford in the shotgun, and air the football down the football field. It's going to be interesting to see if Florida State can carry things offensively with the passing game.
1st down and 10. Buster Davis, the other impact player on defense. Out of the backfield, it's complete. Near the 1st down, it's Lorenzo Booker, the talented running back out of California, 5th-year senior. As we take a look at the Seminole offense, brought to you by Citi. Lots of skilled players and some good ones. Some huge targets in Dakota Fagg, Chris Davis, and Chaz Porowski. Chaz Porowski, his father Paul played for the Seminoles back in the day. Those guys going to have to give a lot of help to Drew Weatherford today. Weatherford under a little bit of duress here on 2nd down. And he's brought down at the 18-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and about 3 to go. Last year it was a story where they had a lot of injuries on the offensive line. This year it's on defense for Florida State. And here's a look at the guys up front for Boston College. Brace and B.J. Raji, a couple of keys for the Eagles.
Well, the Eagles have been playing terrific defense. That's really been the turnaround for Boston College. Boston College has always been an efficient offensive group, but The defense over the last 3 games are giving up less than a touchdown. A week ago, only 3 points to a Virginia Tech Hokie team. This might be a defense that helps this program turn the corner, Mark Jones.
3rd and 2.
On the field, prior to the snap, we have delay of game, number 11, offense. That's a 5-yard penalty. We still have 3rd down.
Seminoles misfiring. Been a tough season for Florida State. Here they come into this game 2-2 in conference play. Drew Weatherford, their quarterback, telling us that, hey, this is our season. Last week, meanwhile, Boston College with a huge win against Virginia Tech.
This Boston College team, 7 years in a row, they've been to middle of the road bowl games. They've got a 6 bowl game win streak still intact, but the way this defense has been playing and the prospects with Boston College controlling their own destiny down the stretch in the ACC race in the Atlantic Division, this defense may have the Eagles playing in the new year.
3rd and 7 coming up. And Weatherford going to be brought down at the 23-yard line by Nick Larkin. So it's 4th down coming up for Florida State. And they'll have to punt here on their first sequence offensively. As you mentioned, that Boston College defense really turning it up a notch in the last couple of games, allowing just 3 points over that span.
Well, that effort against the Virginia Tech Hokies on a Thursday night a week ago, a real eye-opener for a lot of people across the country. 3 points they gave up against Virginia Tech. It's been a long time since a Boston College team has controlled a Frank Beamer coached Virginia Tech team like they did a week ago.
Graham Gano punting for Florida State. Watches it bounce, takes a good bounce. Tribble fields it for Boston College and is brought down at the 37-yard line. Many people thought that Matt Ryan wouldn't be playing in this game, but he is shown to be unremitting and unrelenting and being able to come back and get back on the field time after time. He'll lead his team on offense when we come back. Welcome back, everyone, to Tallahassee, Florida. I'm Mark Jones along with David Norrie. Stacey Dale's down to the field. Boston College with a great opportunity to get a leg up in the Atlantic Division in the ACC. Your thoughts on Matt Ryan and his comeback so far?
Well, I think Matt Ryan has very quietly become one of the elite quarterbacks in the country, and he's really a drop-back passer with presence. He's the type of quarterback that you want to have in a hostile environment like Tallahassee against a talented team like Florida State.
1st down and 10 for Boston College from the 36. Hands it off to Callender, and Callender makes it out to the 42-yard line. How do you think it changes what they try and do offensively, Boston College, with maybe the mobility factor in Ryan?
Well, I think that Matt Ryan is not really ever going to be a quarterback that's going to escape the pocket and get yards down the field. I think he proved early in the season, the win, the double overtime against Clemson when he had the ankle problem, that he can set up and still be a force in the pocket. There's really no game that's too big for Matt Ryan. He has that type of confidence at the quarterback position.
Boston College with just 1 loss in conference play, that coming against NC State. Ryan goes underneath, the pass complete, and Challenger all the way out to the 35-yard line. Kevin Challenger had a big week last week against Virginia Tech with a couple of touchdown catches. Now you look at what they do offensively, Boston College. Nothing fancy, but very kind of methodical in their success.
Well, they have 2 backs. They have Whitworth and Callender. They both combined for over 1,500 yards a year ago. They're experienced backs, and then you combine the ability of Matt Ryan to throw the ball down the field and threaten with a pretty deep group of wide receivers. This is a potent offense for Boston College.
Callender takes the handoff, makes it out to the 35-yard line. This is Boston College's 2nd offensive sequence of the ball game. Of injuries.
And you look at the linebacker core has really just been besieged by injuries. Bobby Bowden lost Geno Hayes early last week against Duke, but the one thing you don't have to worry about at Florida State, there's going to be some talent that's going to step up.
No doubt, like that on the interception. The pick. And still up, Williams. Roger Williams with a nice return off the interception down to the 32.
Matt Ryan, this should be a simple little ball. And I'll tell you what, that is on Tony Gonzalez. I mean, Matt Ryan could not have thrown a better ball. And that is a huge mistake by Gonzalez, a guy who is usually a guy you can count on. And Roger Williams right there to pick up the pieces.
With his third career pick. Weatherford rolling out. Hits his receiver at the 28-yard line. That's Lorenzo Booker at the 28-yard line. Less than a minute to go now in the first quarter. Zeros on the scoreboard here in Tallahassee. A pivotal game for both teams.
Well, and this is a defense over the years that has really lived on turnovers. An attacking style defense. And Mickey Andrews has really fed off of turnovers over the years, and you can't give them easy opportunities like that when Gonzalez wants that back.
Ryan forced to watch from the sidelines. 2nd down and 6 coming up for the Seminoles. Weatherford complete down to the 22-yard line. That's Porowski, the true freshman, making the start at tight end for the injured Brandon Warren. And Porowski about a yard short of the first down for Florida State.
And we talked about the injuries that have hit Florida State on defense. Brandon Warren, the true freshman tight end, is out now, and he has been a real bright spot for this passing offense. Porowski, another true freshman, steps up, but the first time in a long while, 2 go-to tight ends at Florida State.
They get the playoff before time runs out of the quarter, down to the 15-yard line. Florida State starting to move the ball now as the first period ends here in Tallahassee. Joe Surratt on the run. Matt Ryan able to play despite his ankle and foot injuries on that left foot. Chief Osceola with the spirit of the Seminoles. Our presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Welcome back to college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy as we begin the second quarter of play. Zeros on the scoreboard, but Florida State threatening here on the 15-yard line of Boston College. Drew Weatherford at the helm of the offense. Lorenzo Booker dotting the I. First and 10, a fumble. And Weatherford jumps on the loose ball back at the 19-yard line. Let's go back to the interception by Roger Williams.
Well, and Tony Gonzalez, the wide receiver for Boston College, he's played in a lot of big games. Go ahead and roll it. And he's made a lot of big plays, including touchdown passes. But watch here after the deflection. He quits on the play. You can't sit there and quit on the play when you're playing this type of team in Tallahassee. And you'll watch right here, Tony Gonzalez very close to making the tackle against Williams. If he doesn't quit on the play, it takes away about 15-20 yards of field position from the Seminoles.
2nd and 14 out of the backfield. Lorenzo Booker brought down nicely at the 21-yard line. DeJuan Tribble making the stop. And it's 3rd and long coming up for Florida State. No room that time for Lorenzo Booker, and this is when the Eagle defense has been at its best in the last couple of games, in the red zone especially. Tribble, their best cover corner, but that time showing that he can actually come up and make a couple of stops if he has to. 3rd and 15 coming up. The deepest penetration of the day by either team. Weatherford working out of the shotgun. Complete. Into the boundary. It was Booker making the reception, but he's brought down short of the first down at the 11-yard line.
That's a nice play by Weatherford, and we talked about his maturation process, growing as a quarterback. Granted, he broke Phillip Rivers' record as a freshman quarterback a year ago, threw for over 3,200 yards in the ACC as a freshman, but I think he's really started to become a thinking man's quarterback. Sets up a much shorter field goal try by coming down underneath the Booker.
And Gary Sismasha comes in, attempting this field goal from 28 yards out. He's made his last 6 in a row, and you can make that 7 now as Florida State takes a 3-0 lead, converting off the turnover. Roger Williams set it up with his pick, and Sismasha knocks it through. The Seminoles with a leg up, leading 3-0 when we come back. And welcome back, everyone, to ESPN College Football presented by Best Buy. Number 22 Boston College trailing 3-0 against Florida State. Florida State has lost every game at home when they have taken on a ranked opponent, and they have been unranked. Look at the respective stats moments ago by the two quarterbacks. Weatherford leading his team down the field after the interception by Roger Williams. And what are your impressions of Matthew Ryan so far?
Well, I was impressed with Matthew Ryan, especially on that last drive. And the game summary doesn't always tell the story. You look at the last drive, and it's going to show he was two for 3 with an interception, but he should have been 3 for 3. And I think he's doing a great job of distributing the ball. Florida State on defense, though, they're always going to be opportunistic.
Here's the kick, and Jeff Smith, a dangerous kickoff return man, did a great job against Clemson in their win in game 2 of the season. This time takes a knee.
The scouts at the NFL level, they've taken notice of the right guard Josh Beekman, and you have Sherrillis and Martin playing at the tackle spots. Two guys with big size as bookends. All three will play in the NFL.
2nd and 10, Ryan to pass, and is sacked way back at the 45-yard line by Everett Brown. They're calling it a blackout here today because Florida State is wearing its all-black uniforms for the first time ever. That's their 11th sack this season.
Now Everett Brown, the redshirt freshman, has become an impact player for Florida State up front. And there are more than 1 or 2 people around Tallahassee that are starting to compare his potential to Derek Brooks. He's that type of talent at that defensive end spot.
3rd and 17. Blitz coming. Ryan going up top. And good coverage in the secondary that time by the Seminole defense. Michael Ray Garvin on the coverage, and that was perceived to be one of the weaknesses of Florida State this year coming in, but so far in this game anyway, they've acquitted themselves very well.
Well, Garvin played that perfectly. He got up into the receiver, great speed. Michael Ray is a member of the National Championship track and field team here at Florida State, and he absolutely gloved his man down the left sideline.
Chris Davis standing on his own 10. Ayers punting from his own 43-yard line, his 3rd of the afternoon. Air mails this one. Davis with the fair catch at the 10-yard line, and that's where Drew Weatherford will start off after the 33-yard punt. Weatherford 10 of 12 passing, 78 yards total. Passing situation here. Completes it to his big tight end, Borowski, and he's stripped, ripped. And Boston College has it at the 2-yard line. Sullivan ripped it loose, and the Eagles are 1st and goal from the 1.
And it looked like the true freshman, Wes Davis, came up with the recovery. Nice ball from Weatherford. Borowski, the big tight end. And that looked like, was that Holloway?
Sullivan Sani ripped it loose.
That was Sani that ripped the ball loose. A great job on the strip by Sani. And Wes Davis picks it up, and almost got himself a touchdown down the left sideline.
Man, you talk about room service if you're Boston College right now. 1st and goal from the 1. Brian Toll, the short yardage specialist, the linebacker in at fullback. And he gets the call here. No signal. They're going to mark it short of the goal line. Brian Toll has 10 touchdowns in his career. 4 of them coming this year. He's a backup linebacker. He's been nicked up this year. He's number 16 for Boston College. He got the call that time.
Well, they call it the 1st and Toll offense. And the shoulder has been a problem going all the way back into spring. Well, they say it's a lot easier on his shoulder when he's playing offense as opposed to playing at linebacker.
2nd and goal. Handoff again to Toll. 2nd effort leaves him short of the end zone once again. And now the near side official signals touchdown. Toll with his 11th career touchdown.
Well, Toll was initially stopped on this play, but it's going to be second effort. Watch, he's going to reach the ball out over the goal line. And the linesman on the near side signaled touchdown. Remember, all you have to do is break that plane. Toll, he's a big boy sitting back in that I position at tailback.
The extra point good, and there's a flag down on the play. This one's against the Seminoles. Brian Toll missed a lot of the spring practice sessions because of that shoulder injury that we mentioned. Two pivotal plays. The strip by Sandy. And the recovery by Davis, setting up the touchdown plunge. It was first and Toll, and Brian cashed in. We'll be right back. There's a look at Suleiman Sani, who ripped the ball loose from Porowski of Florida State. Led to the recovery by Wes Davis, and then Brian Toll plunging in once again for a touchdown.
Toll doesn't chalk up many style points when he lines up as the I back in that offense, but he's a load in short yardage situations and down on the goal line.
Not the healthiest of averages at just 2.2, and the kickoff by Oliger comes down short at the 15. It's out to the 20-yard line. He'll be wishing up on that star.
T.O.'s a little
celebrating
happier,
on it.
a little happier now. He's getting the ball more, isn't he?
Yeah, sure is. Weatherford fires incomplete. At the 40-yard line, it was tipped on the play by number 24, Ryan Glasper.
And Drew Weatherford, he's seen plenty of tape on this Boston College defense. They like to sit back in the zone. You're going to rarely ever see the cornerbacks for the Eagles play to man, and we just saw Glasper, his return after a long absence. Injuries have been a factor, but his return to this defense has been a real key for Boston College.
5:36 to go here in the second quarter. Boston College with a chance to get a leg up on the Atlantic Division lead with a win here today against Florida State. Weatherford underneath and overthrows his intended receiver to Cody Fagg. Well, earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who is the only former Florida State coach to win a Super Bowl as a head coach?
I don't even have a guess for you, Mark.
Nope. Stacy, you?
Yeah, guys, I'm probably going to go with Bill Parcells. I know he was, he's a kind of important name, isn't he? Maybe some Monday Night Football this Monday?
Yes. Bill Parcells, boy. Got to get Stacy on Jeopardy sometime.
You guys know I'm always right. Come on.
Yes, a slimmed down version perhaps of Bill Parcells back in the day. Weatherford with the completion for the first down to Jocelyn Shawn. Now, speaking of Bill Parcells, he was an assistant coach on the Florida State staff from 1970 to 72. You zoom in a little bit, and boy, look at the countenance, and a lot of hair back in the day for Bill Parcells.
Yeah, and just a little
color too.
Little bit trimmer too.
Of course, he didn't quite have the acerbic tongue that he has now when he deals with the media types. He was just a little minnow, a small tuna back then. First down and 10. 14-yard pickup on the last play. This one complete at the 40-yard line to Chris Davis underneath. He excels at those intermediate routes. If you're just joining us, Florida State wearing those all-black uniforms for the first time ever. Tribute to the indigenous Seminole tribe, and really speaks to the connection that Florida State has with the local Seminoles.
A couple years ago, the NCAA tried to take the Seminoles name away from Florida State. TK Wetherill, along with the Seminole Nation, the indigenous tribe, said no. You know, it's a source of pride here in Tallahassee.
There is. The screen pass set up well. That's Booker shaken. Lorenzo Booker on the loose and pushed out of bounds inside the 20-yard line. A good block downfield from Cody Fagg sprung him loose for more yardage. 43 yards in all.
Don't spring Lorenzo Booker into space unless you're counting on giving up big plays. And we talked about Drew Weatherford, this passing offense. Yeah, the running offense has not been productive for Florida State, but there are other ways to get your running backs the football. And you go back 4 years ago, Mark Jones, Lorenzo Booker, the top running back in the country out of Ventura, California.
Came in highly touted, and now realizing that potential. 1st and 10 for Florida State. Into the end zone, Weatherford, the jump ball. Touchdown! Carr. He took the elevator to the top floor. And there's a flag down on the play.
Ryan Glasper, the strong safety, he feels like he was interfered with by Carr. Watch Carr at the end of the play here. Just a step earlier, it looked like Carr might have knocked.
That's ineligible downfield, number 45.
They're going to bring this one back.
And they're going to catch Charlie Graham, the tight end, downfield. Are they going to say that he was not an eligible receiver? That means a tight end.
And an eligible receiver is downfield, 45 on the offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Don't be surprised to see them go back to Carr again in the jump ball situation. That's what they did last week against Duke.
You know, the tight end is an eligible receiver in my book, so looks like Graham may have been covered up by a wide receiver outside of him on the line of scrimmage on that play.
Important distinction. 1st and 15 after the penalty. They're going to go right back that direction. Touchdown! This time it's personal and it counts. Greg Carr, they went right back to him. He had 2 touchdown catches last week. Gets his first here with 4:09 to go in the half. The 16th of his career. The extra point good, and the Seminoles take a 3-point lead. Last year he set a record with 9 touchdowns as a freshman. Takes up as much room as a truck, runs like a car. You're watching ESPN on ABC. How do you like that? Greg Carr had a spectacular season last year as a freshman and continuing to build on those impressive numbers with another touchdown catch moments ago. They came right back to him after the penalty for an ineligible receiver downfield. And the drive 6 plays, 79 yards, using about 2 minutes on the clock. Weatherford with his 10th touchdown pass this season. How do Boston College now counter? Time winding down here in the first half of play. Jeff Smith. Smith looking for a seam. And Smith pushed out of bounds at the 26-yard line.
Well, taking a look back at the touchdown, you got Carr on the outside, and he's just going to run a post route. And this is a nice job getting inside the defense down the center of the field. You know, Carr is not known as a great route runner, but he sure got inside of the defense well down the seam, and that was a beautifully delivered ball from Weatherford.
1st down and 10 as the Seminoles have a little bit of momentum on their side right now with under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Whitworth in a tailback. That Seminole defense, albeit very young and inexperienced, starting 4 true freshmen today, holding up pretty good. And flags down on the field. Our officials have been pretty busy, unfortunately.
False start. Offense. It's a 5-yard penalty.
Well, coming up on the Capital One halftime show, John, Craig, and Doug will have highlights and analysis from all of this afternoon's big games, including number 5 Texas at number 17 Nebraska. You want to see those highlights. It was a game that came down to the final seconds before being decided. 1st and 15 after the penalty. I think Doug Flutie's watching this one with a vested interest. Ryan under heat. Did it like Flutie would have. And they're going to whistle this one dead unless it's touch football.
And Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator for Boston College, he talks about staying on schedule offensively and playing against Florida State.
We have a timeout on the field prior to the timeout, prior to the ball being snapped.
Playing against this Florida State defense, you don't want to be facing a lot of 1st and 15s.
Matt Ryan going to give himself a checkup from the neck up, and we're going to take a timeout too. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Welcome back, everyone, to Tallahassee. I'm Mark Jones along with David Norrie and Stacey Dales down to the field. A pivotal contest in the ACC's Atlantic Division has Boston College down by 3. They set up the screen here to Whitworth, and LV, boy, the L stands for leaving. He got the first down out across the 37-yard line. Whitworth, a communications major, a junior, with a nice burst there.
Yeah, that's a nice call by Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator, and believe me, he has the respect of the coaching staff at Florida State. Does such a great job of keeping balance offensively, the mix of run and pass. How about big Josh Beekman, the right guard, working downfield, getting a nice block.
Beekman, one of those team captains. 1st down and 10. They hand it off again. Whitworth got jacked. Lawrence Timmons, one of those young linebackers, actually one of the few upperclassmen, making the stop.
Yeah, Lawrence Timmons is a lot like his predecessor, Ernie Sims, who went in the 1st round of the draft earlier this spring. When he hits ball carriers, there's seldom yards after contact. They stay down.
That's one thing we haven't mentioned. We talked about the injuries, but what about replacing 4 first-rounders on defense if you're Florida State? It's not easy. 2nd and 10. Ryan, a little bit of contact and no flag on the play, much to the vexation and cursings internally, at least, of the coaching staff of Boston College. 3rd down coming up.
Carter on the coverage, and Tony Carter, the top cover man for Florida State, one of the top cover men in the country, period. And he's working against the true freshman, Gunnell.
Gunnell pleading for the call.
And Gunnell might have had a point.
3rd and 10. Boston College hasn't converted on 3rd down today. The out and up pattern not there. Flag down. And Ryan fires incomplete at the 45-yard line, intended for Brandon Robinson. And this is going to be a hold against the Eagles.
Well, excellent discipline by the Florida State secondary. Matt Ryan was trying to set up an over-the-top ball on a double move outside, a pump and go with a big arm fake. Roger Williams, a free safety for Florida State, did not bite, kept his depth.
Holding, 30 on the offense. The penalty is declined.
Boy, Williams with an interception already in this game, and how good is he? Well, the guy that he beat out last year actually was starting for a while for the Dallas Cowboys, and talking about Pat Watkins, a guy that he learned a lot from at Florida State last season. That tells you something about the depth that they have here at Florida State. 4th down coming up. They decide to decline the penalty. Chris Davis standing his own 25 for this punt. Ayers with his 4th punt of the afternoon, coming from his 23. Florida State hoping to do something with this possession. And there's going to be a flag. They roughed up Ayers. And Davis falls on the loose ball back in the 22. Benjamin Lampkin came in and hit Ayers on the punt, the 37-yarder. That's going to give the ball back to Boston College.
Well, Ayers, a nice job of going up and just catching this football and getting it off, and it looked like Lampkin
Personal foul.
got into it.
Roughing the kicker. 49. 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
That was not a 5-yarder. And when you leave Ayers exposed, contact comes before he returns to the turf, usually you're going to pick up a 15-yarder. And Bobby Bowden knows in a must-win game, that's a huge mistake before these teams head into the locker room.
Both these teams, David, have faced heartbreak. Both teams have lost in the dying moments of their respective games against North Carolina State this year. Boston College used to playing close ones. They've played in 2 overtime games already this year, winning both. 1st and 10 coming up from the Eagles at the 48-yard line on the Seminoles side of midfield. Andre Callender, the lone back. A blitz coming. And Ryan found his hot receiver, Robinson, who hangs on to it and gets a first down at the 34-yard line. He had problems hanging on to passes last week, but squeezed that one.
Well, just a nice job by Robinson setting things up inside. When you're facing man-to-man coverage, the best routes are crossing routes, where you can run away from the defender. And Matt Ryan getting some nice protection up front. He continues to be impressive and on the money with the football.
Here he is again to pass. Wide open over the middle to Purvis. And Purvis with another Boston College first down at the 14-yard line. Under 2 minutes to go.
Now that is an impressive job by Matt Ryan of taking a little velocity off the ball, making sure of the reception down the field. I mean, he is one of the truly impressive pocket passers in the country in a year, Mark, where there haven't been many impressive quarterbacks across the country.
He leads the conference in passing. This one out of the backfield complete to Callender, and a nice move down to the 6-yard line. A flag down in the play. Remember, Matt Ryan speculated not even to play today. He didn't start practicing until Wednesday. Got some more reps on Thursday. And as Stacey Dales pointed out, he's wearing that offensive lineman type high boot on that left foot of his. And it's a good thing, David, you pointed it out, that his left foot is the one and not the right foot. Why is that?
Well, if you have the right foot injured.
On the play, we have an illegal formation. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. That's a 5-yard penalty. We played it down.
Same penalty we saw in the Seminoles last possession when the tight end was covered up. But, you know, if you have that right foot injured and you're a right-footed quarterback, you drop back and you plan on the right foot, and you keep that right foot loaded to deliver the ball as you go through your progression. Much better as a right-handed quarterback to have problems with your left foot or your left ankle.
1st and 15 after the penalty. He works out of the shotgun. Ryan at the last moment dumps it off. And Kevin Challenger makes a great play on the ball down to the 5-yard line. Challenger bails him out about 2 yards short of the first down, picks up 14 on the play.
Well, Matt Ryan has not shown the effects of the ankle or the foot injury. Watch him help his big offensive line up with a move towards the line of scrimmage, and that is athleticism, dropping the ball off outside. Kind of an awkward throw, but he put it on the money.
2nd and 3, Whitworth. Touchdown, Boston College. Boy, did they move it down with conviction that time. L.V. Whitworth with his 2nd rushing touchdown this season and the 12th of his career, and Boston College takes the lead back.
Well, you have to take advantage of your opportunities when you play in Tallahassee. The roughing the punter call, and Matt Ryan took the ball downfield and cashed in quickly.
And in for the extra point, maybe the greatest ascension up the depth chart all year in college football. Steve Aponovicius knocks through the extra point. This is what set up the touchdown. The roughing the kicker penalty, the personal foul, and then it was L.V. Whitworth. We'll be back with more right after this. Competitively anyway, never played in high school, Pop Warner, junior high, nothing. An assistant coach saw him kicking a couple of years ago, just kind of hacking around on a spare field, said, you know what, you ought to come out for the team. He did. He made it as a walk-on, and then when Ryan Oliger was suspended a couple of weeks ago, he became the #1 guy on the 2 deep. And he made good work of his opportunity, too, with 2 extra points and 2 field goals. He was 4 for 4 against Virginia Tech. You think back to a year ago, he was in the stands with his face painted, rooting on for his teammates.
Remember the face painter in Seinfeld?
Yeah.
He took that role.
Goslin Shaw with the return of the kickoff out to the 24-yard line. That's what makes college football so very special. Stories like that.
Drew Weatherford still with 2 timeouts to work with.
Comes underneath here, completes the pass out to Davis at the 33-yard line. Let's check in with Matt Weiner with a SportsCenter in-game update in New York. All right, Matt, right here now. It's 2nd down and 2. Smith comes out of the backfield, and it's batted down at the line of scrimmage by B.J. Raji. Raji, one of those 2 guys inside, David, that does a wonderful job. He embraced. That's a lot of men up there, 800 pounds combined.
Well, they have some depth behind them as well. I mean, that's a third of a ton with Raji and Brace sitting in there, and you got Justin and Bell, Keith Willis have done an impressive job. You watch that win against Virginia Tech. They only gave up 3 points to the Hokies a week ago, and it was really the interior of the defense that was disrupting things in the backfield for the Hokies.
On 3rd and short, Weatherford, and this is a pick 6. Get your ticket, and DeJuan Tribble cashes it in. He's a winner. That is a game changer. A deafening silence falling over the black-clad fans here at Tallahassee. Tribble with his 3rd pick this season, and it counts for 6. A stunned silence here at Doak Campbell Stadium. Apanavicius knocks it through, and in a heartbeat, the Eagles soar to a 21-10 lead.
Well, as a quarterback, when you throw a short route to the outside and it looks like he was looking out to Carr, you've got to check the danger. You can't make that throw without getting your eyes outside and assessing where Tribble is. And Weatherford, talk about telegraphing the football. Defensive backs are taught to read the eyes of quarterbacks, and Tribble looked like he really baited Weatherford into making that throw.
Well, the coaches talked about Tribble having to make a 20% improvement in his play from last season, and he has certainly done that. That's about 19% on that one play, a 36-yard interception for a touchdown.
Well, how about the change of momentum going into halftime? I mean, Florida State was going to get the ball back, a roughing the punter call. Matt Ryan, boom, 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 takes the ball down the field, quickly scores, and then Tribble takes one the other way. The complexion of this football game has changed in 2 to 2.5 minutes.
Certainly has. 20 seconds to go here in the first half. What was just moments ago a 14-10 game is now 21-10. Seminoles got to get back into the locker room, you would think, and get straight. Oliger squibs it. And Cedric Holloway falls down just over the 30-yard line. As we look at 13 seconds to go, our Pacific Life game summary. Some of the cogent pertinent points of the game. This was the strip on Porowski by Sani. And then Wes Davis collected it, setting up this touchdown run by Brian Toll, the 11th of his career. He is the short yardage back. Carr came back to give Florida State a lead, but it was just a momentary lead. As L.V. Whitworth gave the Eagles the lead, and then the subsequent touchdown by Tribble. It's halftime as time has expired here in the second quarter. And a swing in momentum has been really palpable here and tangible. Matt Ryan wasn't expected to play, but he's done a good job so far. Let's go to Stacy.
Coach, your defense continues to give you guys opportunities. What's your impression so far?
Well, we're playing awful hard. You know, they're a very talented football team, and we just have to keep playing as hard as we can. We made the most of our opportunities, but there's 30 more to go.
Matt Ryan's hobbled on that foot. How do you assess his play so far?
I think he's doing a great job. So, you know, as long as he can keep hobbling, we'll keep playing him.
What's your lasting message before you come into the second half?
No, we got 30 more to go, and we got to play better this half. We're not going to win.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Mark, back up.
All right, Stacy, and Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator, has talked prolonged about finding the right rhythm with his quarterback, Matt Ryan. Right now, Matt Ryan's letting the rhythm hit him. Toll with the touchdown, and we'll join John Saunders and the gang for the Capital One halftime show right after this message. Welcome back, everyone, to college football on ABC, presented by Best Buy. Boston College leading Florida State right now, 21-10. Matt Ryan wasn't even supposed to play, they told us. I'm Mark Jones, along with David Norrie. Stacey Dale's down in the field, joining us in just a few moments. Hey, Florida State did not own this ACC conference in the last 14 years, but they certainly had the lease on it, winning it 12 times. Right now, they're sitting at 2 losses in conference play, on the brink now, trailing. If they lose, their season's done.
Well, for a long time, it was Bobby and the 8 Dwarfs, remember? Now there's 12 teams in the ACC, but you're absolutely right, and it is a 9-1-1 situation for Florida State. The Seminoles only had 10 yards rushing in the first half, and all 21 points that Boston College scored were off mistakes. The fumble recovery, the pick for 6 the other way, and of course the roughing the punter call. I think Florida State is going to have to play close to an error-free second half if they're going to win this game and stay alive in the chase for the ACC Championship.
Bobby Bowden has noticeably minimized the goals of this team, saying that, hey, we just have to get back and win the next game. It's that simple. Florida State with the ball here. This is Shaw on the kickoff return. Jocelyn Shaw corralled at the 26-yard line, and we go down to Stacey.
Well, Mark, David just talked about playing error-free. I just talked to Bobby Bowden. He said we were too sloppy. That was his message to his players at the half. He said we fumbled on the 1-yard line, gave them a touchdown, did it again for another touchdown. They have to clean it up, guys, but you're going to have to wonder, how does this defense for this Florida State team hold up, starting 5 true freshmen in this game?
Good point. They looked pretty good in the first half, for most of the first half. Of course, the 1 touchdown and subsequent extra point coming not because of the defense. That pick wasn't their fault. That's not on their watch. 1st and 10 for Weatherford. Out of the backfield, incomplete, intended for Smith. Time now for our Pacific Life game summary. Look at some of the pertinent numbers from the first 2 quarters of play. Turnovers.
That turnovers,
touchdown.
Turnovers and points off turnovers, Mark, and you could really make that 21 points off turnovers because the roughing the punter call was as good as a turnover.
3rd and 7 coming up. Hoping to keep this drive alive. Weatherford brought down at the 40-yard line. Nick Larkin getting the sack for Boston College. Good coverage, it seemed, that time in the secondary by the Eagles.
And the Boston College Eagles, they don't give you many opportunities over the top. They usually play very well disciplined. They don't allow you to hit the deep balls. Florida State missed a big chance there, though. That's a rare opportunity. And as we watch this game progress through the 3rd quarter and into the 4th quarter, Mark Jones, I think Drew Weatherford is going to have to be disciplined with the football, and he's going to have to be the type of quarterback that'll take those short intermediate range throws, drive the ball down the field, and move the chain.
That time couldn't find anybody. Cano with the punt, his 4th of the afternoon. Tribble, who has a touchdown on interception, fields it at the 15. And Tribble gets 16 yards on the punt return. Thursday afternoon, we'll be walking the sidelines there, watching practice. Here's Matt Ryan to pass. Fires a dart complete underneath. 1st down. Tony Gonzalez made the catch, working against Tony Carter.
Matt Ryan, a nice job of shading his receiver away from the danger. Watch Matt Ryan. He's going to lead Gonzalez to the middle of the field, away from the defender. That's one of the finer points of passing offense as a quarterback.
North Carolina State has already lost today. Boston College has a chance to get a leg up on the division lead with a win here. 3rd and 8 coming up. Going up top. Underthrown, but complete at the 16-yard line. A great grab on the play by Brandon Robinson, atoning for some of those drops that he had last week against Virginia Tech, which included a drop for a touchdown. But Robinson went sky high here.
Now Robinson working against Jamie Robinson, the cornerback for Florida State. And it looked like Matt Ryan intentionally gave Brandon Robinson an opportunity to go up and make that play. And what a play it was.
He kind of pinned that against his other arm to hang on to it.
Cradled it.
And a handoff this time to Whitworth, who got about 6 on the play. Been a rough week for Brandon Robinson, number 2 for Boston College, trying to bounce back from some of the mental anguish, getting rid of the memory of making that important drop against Virginia Tech. Had a couple drops in practice this week too, but he's making the catches when they count. Game time for LaTroy Golan and the rest of his Seminole defensive teammates not to go down by another touchdown here. 3rd down coming up. Whitworth at tailback. On the slant, it's complete at the 8-yard line, but short of the 1st down. Megwa makes the catch for Boston College, and in comes the field goal unit.
Boy, Tony Carter, when they talk about his talent as a cornerback, it really shows up on the field. Really timed that well to Megwa. The contact came just as the ball arrived, and that was a big stop by Florida State to try to keep this a 2-touchdown game.
Steve Apanavicius, the walk-on, who kicked for the first time ever just last week, knocks through another field goal. He is just 3 of 3. But you talk about dreams and aspirations coming to fruition. A 26-yard field goal for the walk-on, who hasn't even played Pop Warner football. That's the key grab that set up the field goal. Brandon Robinson, Rudy reincarnate. This guy's name is Steve. You're watching ABC on ESPN. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Mark Jones, and you're watching college football presented by Best Buy. This is ESPN on ABC, part of the wonderful Disney family. Sometimes just crisscrossed. 3 for 3 in his career. Steve Apanavicius, 5 for 5 total, including extra points. And boy, if you're trying to pronounce his last name and having trouble, you're not the only one. They just call him Sid Vicious as a nickname. This is Shaw on the kickoff return. And Shaw is brought down at the 24-yard line. We said Bruins trying to hang on. I would say a lot about the strength already of the Pac-10. 2nd and 10 coming up. Booker out of the backfield. That ball tipped at the line of scrimmage and falls harmlessly incomplete at the 47-yard line. And now a smattering, a chorus of boos raining down on Drew Weatherford. They're not saying Drew, it's boo. Mark Herlick got a hand on the ball to tip it.
Well, he's a young quarterback, a sophomore, and that's 2 consecutive plays where he had wide receivers open down the middle of the field. And they're higher difficulty passes. That's a square in. They call it a dig route. And both dig routes, on one ball, Weatherford didn't find a seam to deliver the ball down the field, and then he just flat missed Chris Davis on the 1st down play.
3rd and 10. The impatience written on the faces of the fans here. Weatherford stepping up, delivers a strike complete for the 1st down at the 42-yard line. Greg Carr, working against Roderick Rollins, made the play.
Well, it's feast or famine for Florida State. 10 yards rushing in the 1st half. They have not gotten the running game going here in the 2nd half. Weatherford, a big 3rd and 10, and he makes a big-time play. And that's what he's capable of doing. He's got a talented throwing arm, and Carr gave him a nice look on the comeback out to the sideline.
1st down and 10 coming up after the 14-yard gain. Out of the backfield, Booker couldn't square those shoulders and go north-south. Instead, pushed out of bounds at the 39-yard line. Partner, they've given up on the running game, and there's a 2nd down and 8. Set up the screen, the middle screen. Booker chopped down as he caught it at the 35-yard line by Brian Toll. We've seen Toll score a touchdown today on offense. They're making the stop with the tackle on defense.
Well, this is a real key call here, and Florida State may just let this clock expire into the end of the 3rd quarter, but Jeff Bowden facing a big play call, and at this spot in the field, I think Jeff Bowden's thinking about 2 plays, not 1 play.
Well, that's the end of the 3rd quarter of play. The Florida State Seminoles playing for their season, already 2 games down in the ACC's Atlantic Division. For Boston College, a chance to move a little further up on the ACC rung with Clemson. Our presentation of college football will continue after this message and a word from our ABC stations. You're watching ESPN on ABC. DeLon Tribble tongue wagging, and why not? His team leading with a big second quarter. The score right now 24-10. Third down coming up for the Seminoles. Their season hanging in the balance right here in terms of the ACC Championship hopes. 3rd and 4. Weatherford complete. Out of the backfield is Smith, and Smith gets the first down. Got a nice block out in space, made it down to the 21-yard line. He picked up 14 yards on the play.
And Boston College was bringing Larry Anam off the corner, and he's going to get hit in the back right here. And Weatherford did not pick up that corner blitz from the boundary, but he got the ball out quickly enough, just in time. And Anam laid a pretty nice hit on him. Seminoles keep the chains moving.
And they need a score on this drive. Here starting the 4th quarter. Weatherford over the middle. Oh, what a grab! Circus time. Chris Davis working the middle of the field. And it's 1st and goal, Florida State. A 19-yard pickup, and maybe the most pivotal, momentum-changing play of the game for the Seminoles.
Well, Jeff Bowden talked about his receiver, Chris Davis, and he said when we need to have it, when we need a big play from our wide receiving group, Chris Davis is the guy we go to. Not a great ball, but a beautiful catch.
Give us to the fullback, Surratt, and he stopped short of the end zone, and there's a flag down on the far side of the field. They came out with their jumbo package and couldn't punch it in. This is going to go against the defense, Boston College. They'll have first down again.
And Chris Davis on that catch inside the 5, stretching out.
Defense 97. Half the distance. Replay it down.
Not going to see many better plays in the ACC from wide receivers. And you take one more look. Drew Weatherford is going to extend his receiver here. Not a good ball, not clean ballistics. That was not a tight spiral, and he led Davis too far to the inside. Davis made a spectacular catch laying out to make that first down grab.
Smith dots the I. Out of the I formation. Weatherford keeps it himself. And he is stopped up by Brian Toll on the play. It'll be 2nd down and goal. Weatherford, a pretty big character himself at 6'3", 220 pounds, but that time unable to pierce the goal line.
Well, and as a quarterback on a quarterback sneak, I like that call. It's a great call by Jeff Bowden. It wasn't great execution by Drew Weatherford. He kind of stood up and gathered himself and then moved forward. You got to take that snap and follow your center and your guard immediately. There was a bit of a hesitation from Weatherford. I thought Jeff Bowden and his offense should have scored on that play.
Surratt and Smith line up out of the I, 2nd and goal. They try it again. Touchdown Seminoles. Weatherford barely broke the plane of the goal line. And Florida State right back in this with 13:36 to go here in the 4th quarter.
Well, this time Weatherford went high. He went over the top. And when you go 6'3", 220, Weatherford's a heck of an athlete.
His first rushing touchdown of the season and the 4th of his career. And it all started with that nice catch by Chris Davis as Bobby Bowden sees his team right back in this ball game. Chris Davis laying out, brought the circus back into town. And then Drew Weatherford with a touchdown run. You're watching ESPN on ABC. We got a game. Welcome everyone back to Doak Campbell Stadium here in Tallahassee, Florida, where the Seminoles have just scored courtesy of Drew Weatherford going up over the top on a quarterback sneak. The quarterback and his run set up by a great catch from Chris Davis. Bobby Bowden's team has won 12 of the last 14 ACC titles since joining the conference, but right now they are fighting for their season. Jeff Smith will take a knee. They'll start on their own 20-yard line. The Seminoles need a stop on 3rd and 8 here. Complete underneath, but short of the first down. The pass complete to Challenger, and he's brought down right away. It'll be 4th down coming up. The clock running with 9:47 to go in the 4th quarter. Well, time permitting, stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental postgame report. John, Craig, and Doug will have scores and highlights from around the country. I'm Mark Jones along with David Norrie and Stacey Dales down in the field. 4th down coming up for Boston College. And Chris Davis standing on his own 21-yard line, efforting a big play here. Ayers punting. Gets off a good punt. Driving Davis all the way back to the 7. And Davis takes it out to the 23-yard line. Got 16 on the return off the 53-yard punt. The battle of field position. Ayers doing a nice job for Boston College. We'll be right back. 80 yards in 35 seconds. Did I hear him right? Wow. That's moving it down the field. 2nd and 10. That's what Weatherford tries to do here. Complete. And a 1st down to Porowski, who that time hung on to the ball. He was victimized by a fumble earlier in the game.
Well, we've been impressed by Matt Ryan, the quarterback for Boston College, and the way he's moved around, especially on a gimpy left foot and ankle. But how about Weatherford here? Again, sensing the rush coming from the left, steps up towards the line of scrimmage, and then really makes sure of that ball. I mean, he put a little bit of snap on that football, some authority, leading Porowski to his left, and he moves the chains.
Picked up 13 on that. Smith now in the backfield. Blitz coming off the edge, and Weatherford nicely steps up and runs it down to the 46, well, call it the 45-yard line. Robert Francois making the stop for Boston College, but good awareness that time by Weatherford.
Yeah, corner blitz coming here, and Weatherford's just going to see it and step up, and he's just going to take the area vacated by the corner. And as a quarterback, you've always got to feel that safety blitz coming from the boundary. College defensive coordinators, Mark Jones, they love to bring it from the blind side.
2nd down and 4. More pressure coming from Boston College, and Weatherford this time throws it, and incomplete at the 43-yard line. It was intended for Shaw. Let's go downstairs to Stacey.
Hey, Mark, this just in. David, you were calling on Booker for Florida State, and he's actually out for the rest of the game with an injury. He suffered a right thigh contusion. He's sitting on the bench now, guys. This could really affect the offense, although they haven't gone to him that much, Mark.
Yeah, he's got the experience, Stacey, a 5th-year senior. Right now it's going to rest on Smith.
Well, he made that big catch and run in the first half to set up a Florida State touchdown, but I think they still have a weapon in Smith that can give you the big play on a short catch and then the carry after the catch.
3rd down and 4. They have to convert here. And it's Smith out of the backfield. Has the speed, has the moves, has the wiggle, and has the 1st down. A missed tackle on the play allows Anton Smith to get the 1st down and keep the Seminole drive alive.
Well, Anton Smith gives you a lot of the things that Lorenzo Booker gives you in the pass game. Simple throw, easy pitch and catch, but such a dynamic runner. And he came into this football game leading Florida State in rushing. And who would have thought Lorenzo Booker, only just over 500 yards as a junior and not even leading this team in rushing in his senior season. But Anton Smith, he is a talent that you cannot deny.
5:38 to go in the 4th quarter. A quick out pattern, incomplete, intended for Shaw. 2nd and 10 coming up.
And those are the types of pass plays, Mark Jones, that you really have to hit when you become a great passing team. And if you're going to go almost exclusively in the shotgun and spread things out, you got to hit those short balls like clockwork. Those are the plays that set up 2nd and 4 and 2nd and 5 for you.
Instead, they're looking at 2nd down and 10. The noose tightening just a little bit, incrementally on Florida State. A 3-receiver formation. Weatherford going up top into double coverage, and he overshoots his receiver, Greg Carr. 3rd down and 10 coming up.
Now, Drew Weatherford has to look down the field and keep track of the safety and the depth of the safety on that play. And if the safety has 4 or 5 yards of cushion, you don't want to waste a play, especially on 2nd and 10. So as a quarterback, be disciplined. Come underneath if that deep ball doesn't show for you.
The 11th play of the drive for Florida State. The ball at the 37. Might be thinking about Two down territory here. Smith out of the backfield, making another play close to the first down. It depends on the spot, but he seems to have gotten it at the 26-yard line. Pruitt making the stop. And Smith once again converts.
Now this Eagles defense giving up less than a touchdown over the last 3 games, and it's all based on keeping a lid on the secondary, making you come underneath. Go ahead and roll it here. But Weatherford has started to find his running backs underneath. And with Booker out of the game, Smith has become a weapon here in the 4th quarter. If he can continue to be patient and come underneath, I think he's got plenty of talent and yards after the catch to count on.
Weatherford said earlier this week, this is our season. This game is paramount for us. Again, Smith out of the backfield, finding more success. Picked up 9 on that play. Rollins making the stop. You tell you about Smith. Last year, he was not very accepting of his role as a backup to Booker and Washington. Washington now playing in the NFL, but after missing a practice or two and taking the subsequent punishment, went AWOL for a little time, came back, and now has really been the quintessential team player.
Well, it's not always easy playing behind a Leon Washington or a Lorenzo Booker. I mean, Washington playing pretty darn well for the New York Jets, but you can see Smith, plenty of ability.
And Weatherford keeps it on the quarterback sneak, converting, and gets the first down close to the 15-yard line with 4:17 to go.
Well, it's no secret that people have hammered on Jeff Bowden over the last 4 or 5 years. Chris Ricks playing quarterback, the lack of his development and becoming a great quarterback. But I'll tell you one thing, on this drive, and even in the 4th quarter, you go back to the last drive for the Seminoles, I love the play calling by Jeff Bowden. He's really keeping Boston College off balance, and he's really utilizing those backs in the pass game. Weatherford content to drop the ball underneath.
He has had his quarterback, Drew Weatherford, chuck it 45 times.
Timeout on the field. Boston College.
Boston College calls for a breather. We're going to gather our breath too. Exhale on the other side. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Welcome back, everyone. Time now for our Best Buy playbook. Break it down, partner.
Well, we're going to go up to Columbus next week and watch Minnesota work. Remember Setterstrom and Esslinger, the center and the guard that have moved on to the pros? Watch the pulling and the athleticism by guards and tackles in the college game that's really become the rave here over the last 4 or 5 years. Linemen that can get downfield. They have the athleticism, even though they're interior offensive linemen, to get downfield, to run well, and to clear the way. In that situation, it was for L.V. Whitworth on the touchdown run for the Eagles.
Right now, the Seminole offensive line showing off their skills, keeping their quarterback Weatherford upright. Weatherford picks up a few yards, keeping it himself inside the 10-yard line. Picked up about 6 on first down.
Sometimes it's the little things that go unnoticed on big drives, and I think Weatherford has picked his spots when he's pulled the football down. A couple occasions he hasn't taken a big sack. He's moved the ball back towards the line of scrimmage, and occasionally he's picked up yards. But look what he's done here. He set up a 2nd and 4. Bobby Bowden has to really be happy, as well as his son Jeff up in the booth. That gives Florida State a lot of options here inside the 10.
Longest drive of the season for the Seminoles, 15 plays. Out of the shotgun, a little counter play. Smith and met with bad intentions at the 8-yard line, short of the first down. Back to Matt Weiner. All right, Matt. Back here, 3rd down and 3. It's 4-down territory, you would think, if it's Florida State. And we just had a timeout called by the Seminoles. They have 2 timeouts remaining. And Drew Weatherford will talk it over with the Brain Trust and try and keep their season alive when we come back. You would think for the Seminoles.
Yeah, and I like a run here out of the shotgun, because you want to get that. If you have to go on 4th down, you don't want to be 4th and 3. They're going to empty out.
Weatherford fumbles the snap and avoids disaster, but still comes up short of the first down. So it's 4th down coming up. They didn't plan on the miscue on the snap.
Well, and I'm not so sure, when we take a look at that again, I'm not so sure that Drew Weatherford was not going to run a quarterback draw here. You know, we'll never know, at least until the Monday conference when the media talks to Bobby and Jeff Bowden respectively. But, you know, that is a bad time to get a poor snap in the shotgun. and now you're close to having the game on the line right here.
A season boiling down perhaps to one play on October 21st for Florida State. They're 2 for 2 on 4th downs this season. Weatherford fumbled it. It goes forward, but it's incomplete. They rule it incomplete with 1:54 to go. 3,500 tickets were sold to Boston College fans, and you may have seen them in stark contrast to that shot, the Seminole fans.
Well, and how about the stop by the Boston College defense? We talked about how well they've played in the last 3 games. They really stoned Virginia Tech last week, giving up only 3 points. But it was that 3rd down snap that put Florida State in a tough position here. And Brian Toll closed on Weatherford. Might have made the play of the game for Boston College on defense. And now Florida State with 2 timeouts, Mark Jones.
Yep, in trouble.
Yeah, there will still be time left if they can hold the Eagles, but not much.
Whitworth,
about a half minute.
Whitworth in a tailback. He gets the call. L.V. Whitworth cradling that ball cautiously and moves the pile about 3 yards. Gained about 5 on the play.
Well, this is going to be an interesting decision for Dana Bible, the offensive coordinator for Boston College. I mean, right here, you could try to end the game with play action, find a tight end or a back out in the flat. There's a coach at the NFL level that does that very well, and his name is Shanahan up in Denver. He'll cut your heart out in these situations. It's just a matter of whether you want to take a risk.
3rd and 7. Trying to get to the edge is Whitworth. He's not going to make it. Seminoles pile him up way short of the 1st down. It's 4th down coming up, but the clock running now, 106 and ticking.
And you're counting on the officials, if you're Florida State, to spot this ball quickly because the 25-second clock just started. So for Bobby Bowden, you're only going to be left with about 25 seconds, maybe between 25 and 30 seconds when you get this ball back. The good news, they're going to have tremendous field position.
You would think they would come after it right here.
And you would think also that Boston College would consider a directional punt and not give an opportunity to Florida State to return this punt for a touchdown.
We've already had a roughing the punter penalty against Florida State in this game, but at this point they really don't have that much to risk. If Florida State loses this game, it would mark the first time that they've ever been under 500 in ACC play.
Well, Mark, consider this. They've lost their last 2 ACC home games here in Tallahassee. It took Florida State 80 games in the ACC. They started in the ACC back in 1992. It took them 80 games before they lost a home game here in Tallahassee. If they lose today, this will be their 3rd consecutive home loss in the conference. And this game isn't over. You look at the field position. You have an opportunity to maybe block a punt here. You set up for the return, and you're going to get tremendous field position, and you should have about 25 seconds at the end of this play. Plenty of time. Remember, the clock stops on 1st downs in college football. This game is not over.
4th down, Ayers. He's going to run out of the back of the end zone. Burn a little clock. Give up the safety. And he stayed in bounds long enough to burn a little bit of time. Runs it down to 27. That makes it a 24-19 game. And they'll have to punt a free kick from the 20.
Well, that's an interesting call. I tell you what, that's a gray area call. And a lot of people watching may say, hey, that's nifty. That's a sneaky deal there. But what you do is now you kick the ball away. You don't have a return man sitting at the 50-yard line. But also, you give up a touchdown in some shape or form here by Florida State, and you lose the game. You don't go into overtime. So
27 seconds to go. As I mentioned, Boston College kicking from its own 20-yard line. So Florida State with 27 seconds to go. And you would think, David, at this point, they've called the next 3 plays already in the huddle, or close to it. Time management so paramount right now, especially with the new rules. There's on average a reduction of 12 plays per game. The kick comes down at the 25. That's Parker on the return. The freshman gets out of bounds on a nice return. Florida State players looking for a late hit on the sidelines there, but no flag on the play. 19 seconds to go for Drew Weatherford. First down and 10 for the Seminoles, and they need a touchdown.
Well, and the key here is Drew Weatherford, without timeouts, you can get about 4 plays in. You don't want to get sacked, and you've got to get the ball down beyond the chains. Keep the clock stopped.
Clock running. Weatherford fires. Complete. Davis at the 41-yard line at some point now with 10 seconds to go. You would think they have to throw it up for grabs for Greg Carr.
Yeah, Florida State a little bit slow to get that snap when the clock started, but now you're looking at the most 3 plays. That's a nice first play to set things up.
They got to get up to the line of scrimmage and snap it quickly. Weatherford under heat. Got to let go of it into the end zone. Got a man down there. And it's intercepted by Anam. And that's it with no time remaining. Boston College storms into the capital city of Florida and comes away winners 24-19. They're going to look at this one, though, and review it as Weatherford limps off the field.
Now, Weatherford only working with 10 seconds and almost was sacked. I thought it was a tremendous effort by Drew Weatherford just to get this ball up, and he's going for his big wide receiver. You figured you'd go to Carr on this, but I think they're going to have a tough time giving that catch to Carr. That was not a simultaneous catch. Anam put that away pretty securely.
Yeah, if they give that to Carr, then Boston College has to call its attorneys.
Video confirms the call on the field. Change of possession, touchback, the game is over.
The Eagles improve to 6-1, much to the shock of the fans here at Doak Campbell Stadium. The Brain Trust at midfield as Boston College now moves into a closer and better position in the Atlantic Division in the ACC. And Bobby Bowden under 500 in conference play for the first time ever downstairs to Stacey Dales.
Matt, first of all, what was going through your mind on that last jump ball?
Oh my God, the defense had to step up and make a play, against NC State. They were fortunate to go out and be able to make and execute in that type of situation. We learned from that mistake, and luckily, we made the play today.
Another courageous performance from you. What were you feeling with the foot today?
Felt good. You got a great crowd out here, exciting game, and the offense was playing well, so I felt good.
Okay, thanks a lot. Congratulations, Matt.
Big game today for Matt Ryan, who wasn't even expected to play at the beginning of the day. Today's Chevrolet players of the game: Matt Ryan, 262 yards passing, and his counterpart, Drew Weatherford, chucked it 48 times for a touchdown and 326 yards. In recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet make a $1,000 contribution to each university's General Scholarship Fund. Well, for David Norrie and Stacey Dales, I'm Mark Jones saying so long from Tallahassee. Our final score once again, 24-19.